Okay. Alright, so we're back, I think? Oh my god, please don't have another blackout. Hello? Okay. Perfect. It should be okay now. Alright. Hopefully, no more blackout. Okay. Here. Yeah. Come on.
I showed you the dream thing. In the sector.
Yeah?
It's Santa's birthday.
Oh, today? And the heck?
I mean, I don't know if it was today. It's recent. Since they used Septica's handbook for entering the ghost house, this time the resulting output would be an out record. Exactly. Everything left is simple. They set up the corpse on the altar and create a pool of blood using the blood tracks. Then it's finished. The newly reformed ghost house, now with an actual corpse. Now the ghost house gate records up until this point can be summed up to this. Oops, sorry.
Ah! I want to see that.
Sorry, I didn't pick that. Now I can see.
Bro. Take a screenshot. Oops, Alright. Let the stream play.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How is it? This is the result of this case. Kanade Otokoji as the culprit, and Hibiki Otokoji as the evidence. That can't be.
Honestly, if we consider Shobai's usual behavior into account, it's hard to trust him, but it's logically sound, and his reasoning is perfect. Kanade, are you really the culprit? Did you really murder Suka? And I helped you without any knowledge of that? What should I do? I don't know what to do. Sis, don't cry. That beardy hag is just talking nonsense.
Got any rebuttals?
Rebuttal? Are you really thinking to yourself that you really cracked this case? Let's get straight to the point. You're completely wrong. Full of contradictions again. And to marvel at this stupid of a theory. My, you have questionable brains, don't you?
What? What part of it is a contradiction?
As much as this theory has holes like Swiss cheese, the main problem are two big contradictions. Shobai, you told us that after leaving the pool, we left the body at the station and used the monorail to move to the ghost house, right? And remind us, whose handbook did we use when entering the ghost house?
Said it was Setsuka's.
And you think that's possible?
Isn't it possible? The culprit must have had her handbook ever since she was murdered.
Everyone, you might be able to pass through the gates using someone else's handbooks, but only handbooks that are active are valid in this case.
Shobai?
Tinker, you're right. I made a mistake.
I see. Even if you have Setsuka's handbook, only Setsuka herself can turn it on.
Why does it matter? We had the same issue with Emma, but she used Kokoro's fingers.
No, bro, that was possible because Emma cut and kept Kokoro's fingers. Shobai specifically said that the culprit left the corpse at the station. According to this theory, you would never be able to turn Setsuka's handbook on at the ghost house.
It takes a long time to arrive at Block A from C even at running speed. Even if you use Setsuka's hand to turn the handbook on before you leave, it'll be turned off by the time you reach the ghost house.
You're right.
Couldn't you just bring the hand with you?
As we discussed in the last trial, you touch the screen lock of the handbook's sleep mode requires the owner's fingerprints.
Wait, speaking of Emma, why didn't the culprit use the method Yuki just mentioned? The method Yuki just mentioned? You mean cutting the fingers off and carrying them?
Impossible. Setsuka's wrists were cut off. Her fingers were all fine.
I mean, you could just carry those handbooks to turn the handbooks on. You could just carry those hands to turn the handbooks on.
No, that's probably not it. Then we'd again have the problem of how to carry the body without getting caught. Even if hands are small compared to the whole body, they still have considerable size, and you're doomed if they bleed. There's too much risk at hand.
Literally.
Maybe they managed to luckily carry the body without getting caught.
Really? Then let's assume that the culprit somehow solved this issue, and let's get over the next problem.
Can we really go over that issue that easily?
Well, actually, we have a much bigger problem here. Shobai said that the culprit hid the body parts near the ghost house to wait until Sora left the place. And may I ask you where that place is? How in the world can you find a place to hide 10 body pieces? If there was a pile of body parts near the ghost house, anyone would have noticed it. It would seem unnatural if you hid it all inside a bag. But if you hide them separately, it would take time for the culprit to gather back the pieces. You're not really going to say that the culprit also managed this through luck as well, are you? Well, if you are, we have our trusty Sora. We searched every nook and cranny. She searched every nook and cranny near the ghost house. Right, Sora?
Oh, yeah. I searched not only the inside of the house, but also the outside as I was leaving the place. If there was a corpse hidden near the ghost house, I would have noticed it right away.
No, wait. Maybe it's not the ghost house.
Hide it somewhere else other than the ghost house? Poor old Shobai. Oh, we searched every other place as well. Sora, Iroha, and I searched basically everywhere in Block A, so there are no other options, Shobai.
Dude, who do you think I'm suspecting here? If you're saying that you, who I suspect as the culprit, searched Block A, I mean, who really needs to say more? What do you mean? She just has to hide the body in the place that she searched in. She's the culprit, She's the culprit, and all she has to do is say there's nothing there.
So correct me if I'm wrong, Shobai. You're saying that the body was hidden at the complete opposite side of the park from the ghost house?
What?
The place I investigated was that area, the storehouse, and beyond. I hate to break it to you, little Shobai, but that's a bit too far away from the ghost house. Don't you think?
You little bit...
Wait, what about that? Is there a problem with it being too far? We can't move the body around when there's everyone running about in Block A, right? The culprit must have moved the body parts at least after Sora left the ghost house, which is 1936. According to the gate records, the culprit carried the body parts 6 minutes later at 1942, right?
Ah, so that's it! If you hide the body parts too far away from the ghost house, you wouldn't be able to retrieve them within the next 6 minutes!
Sora even said that she looked outside the ghost house. So she would have stayed there at least 1 to 2 minutes after that. So we would only have about 4 to 5 minutes to move the body parts. If you want to move all 10 corpse pieces within that time limit, you would have hid it somewhere close to the ghost house.
Wait, both Miss Older Sis and Younger Sis are in it together according to Shobai, right? So if they move them together,
I told you, it's impossible for even 2 people. They would have they would have to make 2 round trips even if there was an accomplice. Even in the case that we hid it in the nearest storehouse. It's impossible to make 2 round trips within 4 minutes. Unless you have teleportation skills, that is.
That's it, you were the ultimate teleporter
What
this
the
whole time.
Teleportation? Then does that mean we got us?
Bro.
Wait, even the rules mention that I cannot use magic in murders. You do remember it, right? You haven't forgotten about it, or me, right? Then what's actually going on here?
Shobai, is there another way?
See, they're all ignoring you because you made such an idiotic comment.
You mean they're ignoring you? Be quiet in the peanut gallery over there.
Was Shobai's theory wrong? Kanade definitely has a point there. What kind of method did the culprit actually use? Weird to see Shobai so distressed. Maybe it was.
It's no use trying to think of another way.
What the heck?
It's
It'd be
impossible to move. Then I guess Shobai's theory.
Wait! That means the culprit actually managed to move the body without using the monorails. The only method to do so is just hope for the best and not get caught.
I guess that's the only solution we have now.
But the gate records were rigged, right? In that case, the culprit stayed inside for 2 minutes inside the ghost house between 70 feet, so they hid the body and cut the fuse during that time.
It would still make sense. Sora might have missed the corpse as it was dark inside. After all, there were no other possible time that the culprit could have caused the blackout. Was I supposed to read
Let's
it
try to
faster?
find the contradiction from a structural standpoint at the ghost house. We can't afford to make the smallest of mistakes. If we consider the structure, we might find who's right. Wait, huh? Yep. Actually. Well, I know it's the fireplace, so maybe it's the last one. Because it can't be anything else, right?
Mhm.
Oh, what? I think it's the last one.
Mhm. So that's it.
No?
Uh-huh.
Maybe it's
Cause the blackout? Did she
possible.
say that?
Impossible to move the. It would be impossible to move the worse and corpse that fast.
Wait,
Oh, what? Oh, there you go! Found it! Hey. No?
I don't know if it's the fireplace anymore.
Yeah. Clearly. We tried on everything. Ow.
So I think it's the fuse box
Probably.
in the last sentence. Ah.
No? What? I'm confused.
What does the fuse box say?
What's the third option? The gate hack, perfect. What the heck? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hmm.
Just reread it. It'd be impossible to read the clip that fast.
I'm not sure if I still was wrong. And not get caught. The gate records are rigged, right? In that case, the culprits stayed inside were two men inside a ghost house between 75 and 50, so they hid the body and cut the fuse during that time. Maybe it is?
It could be that with the gate records.
The gate records? Hmm. Or... Well, we already used the ghost house.
Oh, okay, I didn't know.
Ah!
Hey, what? So the fuse box?
Maybe? Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was it.
I knew that the whole time. Let's go.
Bruh. 35!
Oh god.
Hold this for a second. I need the pillow in my back. Nikkei, I'm afraid that would be...
Wait, move.
Nikkei, I'm afraid that would be impossible. Heck? Why? I get that you have barely enough time, but if you move at full speed...
Sora's right. 2 minutes is far from enough when you're trying to hide 10 body pieces. And more importantly, the ghost house fuse box is the problem. They opened it to cut the wires, remember? That means they had to visit the innermost part of the ghost house.
The fuse box was located just beside the entrance to the altar, and the altar is located innermost in the ghost house. Just going to and from would take up all the time. It would take up all the time.
Well, maybe there was a secret passage that only the culprit knew of. They could have hidden the body there and gained access to the fuse box as well.
Please, can someone knock some sense into him? There's no way that kind of passage would exist. The most crucial thing is if the culprit carried the body to the ghost house, the person who saw that should have noticed it. So how is it, Hiroha? Did my sister enter the ghost house holding something in her hands or not?
What? Whoa, why are you so flustered? Well, I just didn't expect to get called. What did you say?
Roha, it seems like you're not very fond of the fact that you have your head attached to your neck. Would it kill you to please pay attention? You told us that you saw my sis entering the ghost house around 1755.
Oh! She was empty-handed! If she was holding a piece of the corpse, I would have recognized it!
See? So that means we didn't transfer the body directly to the ghost house. I cannot be the culprit. And as mentioned before, there are too many contradictions to suspect my sister as the culprit.
I have something to inquire, Kanade. You have successfully shown us that you cannot be the culprit. But doesn't that mean you yourself admit that your first theory was wrong? Then now that it's come to this, who do you think is the actual culprit?
Well... Honestly, I also need to think through this again. I was so focused in proving my innocence that I haven't come up with another theory yet.
Shobai, how about you? This is the first time you stood up in a class trial. Is there any other theory?